Hello, Americans. I'm Kenton McNall. It's Constitution time. Today is December 9th, 2020. For the last several weeks, we have been watching something play out that every time we think it actually is playing out, it just finds a way to keep going. And what we're watching play out is the current president of the United States doing every possible thing he can to overturn our election and keep his office. When I started Constitution Time, I wanted to create a way for Americans to discuss the threats and some of the difficulties that I see for our Constitution and for our democracy, not all of which came about in the last 4 years, as I've said many times. And in that, I have done my level best, which has been difficult, to not be partisan to a great extent. I lean to the left. I've made no bones about that. And I've had guests on that lean to the right, and we've had good conversations. I'm probably going to fall off the wagon this evening, but not as a partisan, just as a person. Because what I see happening is just simply wrong. And there's right and there's wrong. And right and wrong can't change because of what political party you're part of. Not when it comes to our democracy. Because we have to be Americans. And that's a drum I'm beating. To be Americans, not Democrats and Republicans. That's second, maybe third, maybe fourth down the line. But it's sure not first. Our party cannot be first. We have to be Americans first. And we also just simply have to be good human beings, good people. And whatever our religions or not religions are, we just have to be good people. And we can't watch wrongdoing and stand by with our hands in our pockets or go along with it. There's a movie and a play and I think a book. The Miracle Worker. It's about Helen Keller, who ended up a wonderful person, a treasure of our country, and her teacher, Annie. And I think it was more in the book, but also portrayed in the movie and the play, that when Annie first started working with Helen, she was amazed that Helen's family, no matter what Helen did, would just simply put up with it. Look the other way, pretend that it didn't happen. Helen would go around and put her fingers and hands, or filthy, dirty fingers and hands in their breakfast and deliberately mess up their breakfast, and they would just act like it didn't happen. We've been watching the President of the United States be Helen Keller and put his dirty hands in everything and mess it up for our country for 4 years. And we've been looking the other way in our own ways. Sometimes it's just simply, I ask a friend, don't you see this? And they just say, oh yeah, I don't like his personality, but he's doing good things. What good things, I say? Don't ever really get a good answer there, but we're all doing it. We're all allowing it. And we're coming to a point where we're not going to be able to allow it anymore if we want to keep our democracy. Now, as I said over the last few weeks, I've been watching and waiting, worried about what's coming. And I haven't really been that worried about the lawsuits. I've been more concerned about some of the chess moves that I've described behind the scenes, putting people in place at the Pentagon, that type of thing. Or some big master stroke of strategy. And currently what's happening, very interesting, because all the lawsuits are finally winding down, and you start to breathe a little bit, and then here comes a lawsuit by the Attorney General of Texas, the under indictment, reportedly corrupt, on the take, multiple charges against him, Attorney General of Texas, who has filed a lawsuit on behalf of Texas against most of the key states, key battleground states, claiming that their actions in the election have injured somehow the people of Texas, because the results didn't go the right way, because they changed their rules for COVID. And I'm pretty sure that darn near every state changed their rules for COVID, allowing more mail-in ballots and that type of thing. Some states, like Texas, deliberately made it harder for people to vote, giving them only one place to vote in a county the size of Rhode Island in the case of Houston. And then, truth to tell, I did not end up hearing of any major problems in Texas with voting. And this is being dismissed by the liberal media, at least. But now the Republican attorneys general of most every other red southern state especially is signing on to this lawsuit. And it is going to be at least considered enough by the Supreme Court to give a yay or nay to whether we'll hear it or not. And if that one gets through, I'll be very worried. But that aside, the current president is attacking our democracy, is calling legislatures in the states, governors in the states, attorneys general in the states, asking them to overturn the legitimate, fair, valid election. He is casting doubt about democracy, about the elections in the minds, at least of his followers, the legitimacy of our election, the cornerstone, the foundation of our democracy. And he's doing it on purpose, with malice aforethought. And I never in my life thought that I would see a president act like this man has acted, do the things this man has done. And the question could be put to us, Americans. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stop looking the other way? But I appeal to the followers of this person. Please be Americans. Please get back to right and wrong. Because there's no fraud in this election. I put a question to everyone that hears this, whether live or later. Have you ever tried to conspire with any number of people in any way, whether to do something legal, illegal, or not? Even trying to do a surprise birthday party or a surprise gift for someone. It's hard to get 2 or 3 people to keep their mouths shut about it. Much less whatever hundreds or thousands of people are being inferred in this huge conspiracy to defraud the voters of many states. Even though they have Republican governors, even though they have Republican secretaries of state. Supposedly this happened right under their nose, and it was the Democrats. I guess all 80 million Democrats were in on this thing, or just a few thousand. Listen, folks, conspiracies don't happen anywhere near as much as we think they do, as goes around in social media and in urban legend, because they're extremely difficult, even if there's only a couple of people involved. So the only evidence that anyone has to say there was so much fraud in this election is the word of one person. One person who is supposed to be the defender of the Constitution, who swore to defend the Constitution, and is instead attacking the Constitution with all of his powers, with all of his followers, with all of his sycophants and acolytes and all the people that are around him. And that is just straight up wrong. And we can't look the other way. And ultimately, we may have to be willing to do more than just tisk, 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 and shake our heads and walk away if we care about our democracy. Now, I've been equally worried at several points along the way. And I've stated before how proud I've been that the people of the United States of America who were truly responsible for the elections, just steadfastly did their job. And I continue to hope that, even though now the people that we're relying on are the people in the Supreme Court, are the people of the Senate, who will soon be in a position to try to object to and block and pull some shenanigans with the electoral vote process. I trust the people of the United States of America. Aside from those groups, I do not trust in any way, shape, or form the president of our country, and it hurts me to say those words. I do not trust that person. And the people of the United States of America deserve to be able to trust their president. And all the people that work for the president. Not the parade of clowns that have been trotted out over the last 4 years, especially in the last few months and in the last few weeks with this legal team that's been around. It's really an embarrassment, and what an amazing thing it must be for the people of other countries to watch. I know that these are strong words, but they're heartfelt words, because I'm angry. I'm angry that I am represented, my family is represented, my country is represented by this person, and it's time for him to go. And above all things, I hope that nobody lets the memory of what he has tried to do fade in any way, shape, or form, because we're going to have to be just as passionate 4 years from now to keep him from getting back into office, or any of his spawn from getting into office. We can't let this happen again to our country. You know, we've got to be represented by good people, people of good character, to the best of our ability to pick those people. Not populists, not strong men, not people who take positions that sometimes we want to take, because we do get tired of how our government works sometimes, maybe more than sometimes. And that's where we've got to still buckle down and get change made in our to defend and uphold our Constitution and our democracy. We need changes made, maybe even the Constitution. Maybe we need amendments. We certainly need clarifications, as I've talked about many times. Helen Keller was a really good person, by the way, and I don't mean to besmirch her name by associating her with this person, but when she was young, she made people look the other way. Her behavior was so bad. Well, this person is not young, and we should not have to look the other way. And I promise moving forward that I will limit my rants, because that's not what I am trying to accomplish with Constitution Time. But sometimes there's no excuse for the people who are looking the other way at the highest levels of government, the people who will not acknowledge the president-elect, and who say, the current president has all the rights in the world to legally challenge the votes. Well, that may or may not be true, but let's face it, a lot of this stuff that he's doing isn't legal, has no foundation in legality, and has been laughed out of court for that reason, but also just simply doesn't involve the number of votes it would take to overturn even one state. So that is my rant for this evening. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more Constitution Time in the near future. Be well, Americans. Take care of yourselves. Keep out of the way of COVID, and we'll see you next time.